Good morning. I'm so glad to see you all here. Welcome to Music Sunday. And there's the bell to tell us it's time. This is great. My name is Brian Baker. I'm the director of music here, and I'm so glad you are here also.
Good morning. I'm Virginia Frederick, known to my friends and family as Ginger, and I'm your worship associate today. This is a welcoming congregation, and we are always working on how to better welcome and care for each other. If this is your first time, we're so glad you've come. And whoever you are, we welcome you in the fullness of whoever you are. As we begin, we want to acknowledge that this church occupies land in Huichin, the unceded territory of the Chochenyo-speaking Ohlone people. We understand that we continue to benefit from the seizure and occupation of this land. We acknowledge and embrace our responsibility to take restorative action. We affirm that this is deeply felt and commit our congregation to be in right relation with Indigenous communities, aligning in solidarity and supporting Indigenous projects and caring properly for the land.
Our theme this month is love, and the topic today is about love and music and community, all forms of love, and how music weaves in together and holds our lives. And I've asked a really wonderful person to give us our opening words. Here's Lonnie Mosley.
Good morning. My name is Lonnie, and I'm a member of UUCB, and this morning I'd like to tell you, many of you, what you already know, that music is magic. Listening to music that you love has been shown in many scientific studies to release that wonderful hormone, oxytocin, giving us warm and fuzzy feelings, but also lowering our stress, anxiety, blood pressure. And we also get that release of dopamine and serotonin, two neurotransmitters that positively regulate our mood and emotions. I remember a time that I had gotten so down on myself because of something that had occurred in my life that made me feel bad about me. And on a particular Sunday, when I came into services, our choir sang a song that I had never heard before, but I felt like they were singing it just for me.
How could anyone ever tell you you're anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell you you are less than whole?
Yes, music is magic. It's also a powerful tool to cope with grief and loss. Music provides that safe space to let our bodies express our deepest emotions and ultimately heal. When my beautiful, exquisite mother died of cancer, I grieved terribly. But there was always one spiritual that would ease me and quiet me down when I was feeling her loss most acutely. One Sunday, when my mother was particularly on my mind, our choir sang a spiritual, and it felt like a personal message from my mother, and I wept in gratitude.
There is a balm in Gilead to make the wounded whole. There is a balm in Gilead to heal the weary soul.
So, listen to me. Music is magic. Scientists still don't know how a song can trigger a memory that releases the same mood-enhancing chemicals into our bodies every time, and then for years afterwards. I remember a particular Solano stroll where us members of UUCB were walking with our Black Lives banner and singing at the top of our lungs, "This little light of mine, I'm gonna make it shine." And I was holding the banner on one end, and Marcel, our gorgeous choir member, was holding the banner in the middle, nearest to me, and another church member had it on the end. So Marcel's magnificent voice could be heard above the crowd roar, but I noticed that some of the people were looking at me and applauding. They thought that they were hearing me, singing like Marcel. Now, I get it, because Black people singing, we got it going on, just saying. Anyhow, whenever I hear that song now, whatever mood I'm in, I'm immediately changed to joy and laughter, and I revel in the memory of this church supporting Black Lives Matter, and my one moment of being mistaken for a great mezzo-soprano. I can hear the song in my brain now. Hit it, brain.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Oh, this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Thank you.
Show me how. I want to sing to the early morning, see the sunlight melt the snow, and know I want to grow. To wake to the living spirit here inside me where it lies. I want to listen till I can hear it. Let it guide me and realize that I can go with the flow unending, that is bending, that is real. Cities, far from fear. I want to talk to the growing garden, to the divas, to the deer, and to be one with the river flowing, breezes blowing, sky above. I sing because I must. I was just called a rare bird. I'm a Kensington native, singing as I hiked home from Kensington Hilltop School along Ye Old School Trail in Tilden Park. I grew up, sort of, to become a professor of voice and a teaching artist with San Francisco Opera. I get to compose operas in grade schools with second and third graders. Yes. Practice is my prayer. Music, my spiritual life, my order in the universe, where I find my community. And I want to sing for and share with you in your deepest sorrow, your brightest joy. I want to sing where that music comes from. Thank you.
Now we'll do the chalice lighting. And Brian is coming up to light the chalice. And here are the words by Jim Scott. May your life be as a song, resounding with the dawn to sing awake the light, and softly serenade the stars, ever dancing circles in the night. And we will also pause to light the 4 candles of resilience. We pause to remind ourselves of some of the foundations of resilience. With Brian, we will light the candle of courage, a candle of acts of service, a candle of fellowship, and a candle of hope. May we find and cultivate these foundations of resilience in ourselves and in one another. And now, please rise in body or spirit to join me with saying our covenant. Love guides this church. The quest for truth and justice is its common purpose. To give thanks, listen deeply, speak with care, honor our differences, and seek and grant forgiveness. These things we covenant with one another. And please be seated, and Susan Mashiyama will introduce the next song we're about to sing.
Thank you, Ginger. Shoshaloza is a traditional South African song that was sung by gold miners to encourage themselves in their hard labor. Nelson Mandela, who later became president of South Africa, sang it to keep up his spirits when he was in prison for fighting segregation. It became a freedom song and then was sung at major sporting events to cheer on the athletes. And today it is sung around the world as a community building song. Does anybody know this song, Shoshaloza? A couple of people do. Well, we're going to sing it together later, so watch for them. Some years ago, it was the central song at an international conference to mitigate climate change. We'll sing this together to celebrate our coming together in love to create community and to encourage us to keep working together towards our goals, challenging though they may be sometimes. We'll sing the original lyrics in Zulu and Ndebele. They'll be on the screen with a reference to South Africa to remind us of the song's origin and its history. So the word Shoshaloza means to go forward, and it sounds like a steam train. And it basically is a song about going away from the mountains towards South Africa. So if you would, I'll say a phrase. So I'll say a phrase, so if you could please speak it back, and then I'll sing it, and then sing it back. So if I could get an E, please. An E, could you play an E? Shoshaloza.
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 Next line. Kulezantaba.
Kuletsontaba.
Kulezantaba.
Kuletsontaba.
Now the next part, it's a sipume, not sifume. Stimela sipume.
Stime la sapume.
Stime la sapume.
Stime la sapume.
South Africa.
South Africa.
The second verse, the only difference is the first line is when uyabaleka.
When uyabaleka.
When uyabaleka.
When uyabaleka.
And the rest is the same. Okay, so and it's call and response. So I'll follow Megan and Mark on what you just learned. Could I get a B? Shoshaloza.
Shoshaloza. Kulesuntaba. Stimela sapume South Africa.
Shoshaloza.
Shoshaloza. Kulesuntaba. Stimela sapume South Africa.
When uyabaleka.
When uyabaleka. Kulesuntaba. Stimela sapume South Africa. When uyabaleka. Kulesuntaba. Stimela sapume South Africa. Shoshaloza. Kulesuntaba. Stimela sapume South Africa. Shoshaloza. Kulesuntaba. Stimela sapume South Africa.
I feel so much love in this room today. All kinds of love. There's so many kinds of love. Love can be kind of a heavy word with lots of different meanings. So this song, here's a piece of love I just got, a drawing. So this song makes the word love a little lighter, and we say la, wa, love. So I believe the words are going to be up there. You're going to hear the chorus 4 times, and you're welcome to join in if you feel like you know it the 4th time around. All right, let's see. I love to love. I love to care. I love this day, this Valentine's Day. Once a year I get to show it, make lots of cards in red and pink. I'll give you candy so you know it. With this card comes my heart. Ba-dum-bum-bum. I love to love. I love to care. I love this day, this Valentine's Day.
I'll give you hugs and smiles and kisses. I'll fetch your slippers if you ask. I don't know how to do the dishes, but I can sing. That's a fact. Ba-dum-bum-bum.
I love to love. I love to care. I love this day, this Valentine's Day. The roses are red in the poem, and violets are often blue. I have these feelings and I'll show them on this day and others too. Ba-bum-bum-bum. I love to love. I love to care. I love this day, this Valentine's Day.
anyone who is young or young at heart and would like to come up for the Time for All Ages is welcome to come up now. We have a special treat. We have in our congregation one of the world's foremost experts on the gamelan. The gamelan are these instruments that you see out here, and the music that they create and the community that they bring together. They're Indonesian in primary origin, and it's not just about music, it's about everybody being together and making music and sharing the joy in this music and stories. Daniel's going to tell us something about gamelan, but especially about a compositional device called chance operations.
Well, today is going to be something very different for TFAA, as we call it. And, okay, am I coming through? Okay, so, wow, what a crowd we have. Isn't this grand? Okay, so up here you will see Carolyn holding some dots. And Carolyn is going to hand out dots on that side. And Everly is going to hand out dots on this side. And you're going to stick them. Everybody here gets a dot. And you get to stick it onto that board where Tom is pointing, anywhere you want to. Now, don't think when you put a dot on there that it has to go close to somebody else's dot. We want to fill the whole space like the stars in the sky. We want to make that board look really beautiful. And then, you might wonder, why is that instrument? Can you hit that instrument a little bit? That instrument the dots that you put on the board are going to become the notes for that instrument. And that's what's called a chance operation. We're taking a chance here. We have no idea what will happen on that board. It's totally chance, and it's actually results in some beautiful music. Later on, when we play the offertory, you will hear a piece produced by chance operations. So here we go, kids. Okay, get those dots up there. Spread them out. Tom, don't indicate. It's really up to them. It's totally... Tom is always wanting to help everyone. Uh-oh, this is going to be a complex piece of music here. Okay, now. Okay. Okay, now, what's going to happen is Izzy, right there, she is going to play. Oh, by the way, Izzy built that instrument. And so it's going to move across. The instrument's going to move across, and Izzy's going to play the... Oh, let's come... Yeah, here we go. Go. Okay, so I'm going to hand this back to probably Karen.
Thank you. Wasn't that an amazing story? Who knew about chance operations? That was great. So the children now are going to go off to their classes. Would you please rise as you are comfortable and join in singing Guide My Feet? If you need the words, it's 348 in the gray hymnal. Here we go. Hold my hand. Search my heart.
Good morning. My name is Karen. Not too long after I had begun to recover from the collapse of my marriage, I was invited to join an informal new quartet, a spin-off from the women's community chorus I'd been singing in for a few years. My life had opened up enough by then to allow this new intimacy. Singing wonderful harmony with a few like-minded sisters, seeking excellence, we were just amateurs, and opening our hearts. The quartet became a source of healing, uplift, and friendship. One of the pieces we four especially love to this day was written by Eric Whitacre, an internationally known Grammy Award-winning composer and musician. Eric's music is able to touch people from all backgrounds. He collaborates with artists as varied as singer-songwriter Annie Lennox, Latvian classical accordionist Seni Sidorova, and soul artist Laura Mbula. He's hailed as a pioneer of global virtual choirs. Eric's music has luminous beauty and harmonic richness that you can sink into. The piece my quartet loves is The Seal Lullaby. Eric wrote it for a major film studio that thought it might want to make an animated film based on Rudyard Kipling's story, The White Seal. He says he has always loved animation and everything Pixar, and couldn't believe he might get a chance to work in that grand tradition on such great material. He writes, "The Seal Lullaby is a beautiful story, classic Kipling, dark and rich and not at all condescending. Best of all," he says, Kipling begins his tale with the mother seal singing softly to her young pup in these words, "Oh, hush thee, my baby, the night is behind us, and black are the waters that sparkled so green. The moon o'er the combers looks downward to find us at rest in the hollows that rustle between, where billow meets billow, then soft by thy pillow, ah, weary wee flipperling, curl at thy ease. The storm shall not wake thee, nor shark overtake thee, asleep in the arms of the slow swinging seas. Eric says he was struck so deeply by these first words that a simple, sweet, Disney-esque song just came gushing out of him. He didn't hear from the studio for weeks and weeks, though. He finally learned that they decided to make Kung Fu Panda instead. So at first, he just sang the song every night to his baby boy to try to get him to go to sleep. Eventually, the song was given public life, luckily for all of us. He dedicated it to his dear friend and mentor, Stephen Schwartz. Now, Luminescence Choir will sing Seal Lullaby for you.
excited and nervous to be speaking here today as a worship associate. It's my debut. I was supposed to debut at the Christmas Eve service about 6-7 weeks ago, and I was excited and nervous then too. Before dinner that night, I was printing out the poems that I was assigned to read, and I thought that while the printer was spitting them out, I'd just go ahead and start filling the Christmas stockings, and I rushed through the kitchen to do so. Little did I know that while I was in the shower, my husband had washed the kitchen floor, and down I went on my kneecap, shattering it in 3 pieces. So after the ambulance trip and a little visit to the ER, my family was so sweet. They knew I was disappointed, so they listened attentively while I read the poems to them as we sat around the delayed dinner table. Now, one of the poems was by Jan Nichols, and it was from the point of view of the Archangel Gabriel, who gave Mary the message that Mary would be bearing the Christ child. Now, the poem speaks of being nervous to deliver the message, and yet the grace with which it was received. And it referenced many paintings of the Annunciation, one of which you see above by Fra Angelico. Now, this spurred my interest in Gabriel and led me to do a little bit of research. In the choir, we sing about the archangels Michael, Raphael, Gabriel, Uriel, and the angel's blessing, which you'll hear in a little while. I learned that Gabriel is an important figure in the Jewish, Christian, and Islamic traditions. Gabriel is a messenger of God, bringing important news. And besides appearing to Mary, Gabriel also appeared to the Hebrew prophet Daniel, interpreting his visions, and to the prophet Muhammad. Now, the angel Gabriel is not explicitly associated with music, but is often pictured holding a trumpet, so the association is implied. In fact, so much so that Cole Porter included it in his classic song, Blow, Gabriel, Blow. You remember, blow, Gabriel, blow. Come on and blow, Gabriel, blow. I've been a sinner, I've been a scamp, but now I'm willing to trim my lamp, so blow, Gabriel, blow. No, thanks. Many years ago, when my kids were just small, we started a nativity scene using Fontanini figurines. Now, we added to it over the years, and this year, of course, I added the figure of Gabriel. Now, you see this figure, and there's this picture there, carries a sword and a scroll, because Gabriel's the messenger, but the sword, because sometimes messages are hard to take. And now when I look at this figure in years to come, I will think of this past Christmas with the sword symbolizing the pain of breaking my knee, but the scroll will bear to mind the message I received from the universe, that to have more compassion for people that are disabled, and to remember that we're all only temporarily fully abled. And also, I will think about all the wonderful messages of love and support that I received from this loving community. And I just want to say thank you.
Now we take a moment for ourselves. Time to sort of connect inside with our hearts, our spirits. There's nothing you need to do right now. For the next moment, you can just be here, surrounded by this loving community. May your life be as a song, and may you find now that song inside, and let it bring you comfort and balm and joy and contentment. And we'll take a moment of silence and hold all the joys and concerns that we feel and that we are surrounded by in this loving community.
The True Love by David White. There is a faith in loving fiercely the one who is rightfully yours, especially if you have waited years, and especially if part of you never believed you could deserve this loved and beckoning hand held out to you in this way. I'm thinking of faith now and the testaments of loneliness and what we feel we are worthy of in this world. Years ago in the Hebrides, I remember an old man who walked every morning on the gray stones to the shore of baying seals, who would press his hat to his chest in the blustering salt wind and shout and say his prayer to the turbulent Jesus hidden in the water. And I think of the story of the storm and everyone waking and seeing that distant yet familiar figure far across the water calling to them. And how we are all preparing for that abrupt waking and that calling and that moment we have to say yes, except it will not come so grandly, so biblically, but more subtly and intimately in the face of the one you know you have to love. So that when we finally step out of the boat toward them, we find everything holds us and everything confirms our courage. And if you wanted to drown, you could, but you don't. Because finally, after all this struggle and all these years, you simply don't want to anymore. You've had enough of drowning, and you want to live, and you want to love, and you will walk across any territory and any darkness, however fluid and however dangerous, to take the one hand you know belongs in yours.
We met, of all places, in front of Gristides, some freakishly cold winter's day. I had on several unflattering layers of wool. He slipped on the ice with his grocery bags full. So I rescued some Fruit Loops he dropped by the curb, and he made some remark that my smile was superb. I thought that was sweet, and I started to go, and he said, "Hey, what you doing tomorrow?" Because I'll be here at the corner of Bleecker and Mercer tomorrow at 7. If you want to meet up, I'll be waiting right here. And in case there are two fellas waiting for you, my name's John. He waved and then he was gone. Needless to say, I went back there to meet him, mostly to see if he'd show, and there he was, out in the cold with his jacket pulled tight. He took me to dinner and kissed me goodnight. The next week we went to this terrible play, and the week after that drank hot chocolate all day. And suddenly 8 or 9 months had flown by when he said, "Hey, what you doing the rest of your life? Because I'll be here right beside you as long as you want me to be. There's no question. There is nothing I've wanted so much in my life. This might sound immature, but I'm totally sure you're the one." And we had just begun. sorry. I don't mean to ruin your evening by bringing up all of this stuff. You're probably wondering why I even called you tonight. Well, today something happened that spooked me all right. I saw this storm cloud of papers fall down from the sky, and I thought of that day, and I started to cry. When sure as I breathe, I heard John, clear as day, saying, hey, you're allowed to move on. It's okay, because I'll be here, even if you decide to get rid of my favorite sweater. Even if you go out on my birthday this year, instead of sitting at home, letting all of life's moments pass by. You don't have to cry, because I'll be here when you start going back to the places we went to together. When you take off my ring and you let yourself smile. When you meet someone handsome and patient and true. When he says that he wants to be married to you. And you call him one night and he meets you downtown. And you finally answer him yes. Yes, Jason, I will marry you. I will give you my heart. It has taken so long, but I'm ready to start. Right now, John's whispering congrats in my ear, 'cause I finally let myself tell you that I will be here.
Hi, I'm Corinne Edding, and I wanted to share a little bit about music and love and connection. Music has been a source of love and connection my entire life. I saw my dad model it frequently as he's performed violin, viola, or saw at just about every wedding or memorial service that I've been to. And my mom, dad, sister, and I would frequently perform a song at family functions, earning us the nickname the Von Eddings. My family went on lots of road trips, and along with those road trips, we sang for hours. It's where I learned how to sing harmony and keep apart when we sang rounds. Even when I was going through my awkward, sometimes angry teen years, the music was still there as a way we could connect when words were too tricky. Throughout my life, I've had pretty bad social anxiety, and music has created a bridge for me, creating ways to connect with people in situations where I otherwise would have left because I felt too uncomfortable. Because of the choir at UUCB, I've had the opportunity to share with people through performing, created friendships with people, and felt supported in ways that I never would have imagined. I received great support and connection with my sister as she got outside of her comfort zone to perform duets with me and trios with our friend Diana, who we wouldn't have been as close with if we hadn't sung with her. When I get to song lead hymns or perform, it gives me a great joy to connect with you, the congregation. Face to face, sharing my joy of song. And when my sister died, I felt so incredibly loved and cared for by the people of this church who had the chance to connect with my sister, even if they didn't know her, from seeing her perform and song lead. At her service, so many people here helped to make it possible. It was filled with music, as that was how her life was filled, and we got the opportunity to connect and share with people that way. And I got the privilege of sitting and watching the choir perform the most beautiful rendition of Leonard Cohen's Hallelujah. I felt so much love and warmth in that moment. And now, today, I get the privilege to connect with you again in sharing a moment with you, performing Ingrid Michaelson's The Way I Am with my dad on the ukulele. If you are falling, then I will catch you. You need a light, I'll find a match, 'cause I love the way you say good morning, and you take me the way I am. If you are chilly, here, take my sweater. Your head is aching. I'll make it better, 'cause I love the way you call me baby, and you take me the way I am. I'll buy you Rogaine when you start losing all your hair. Sew on patches to all you tear, 'cause I love you more than I could ever promise, and you take me the way I am. You take me the way I am. You take me the way I am.
And now it's the time. Oh, he's not here. Okay.
So sorry, I was just informed that there's an emergency announcement. Not an emergency, but there's an announcement that needs to be made right away. There's a congregational meeting after the service. There'll be time to get some coffee and a snack, and then we'll have the meeting. But the link that was published is wrong, and there will be a new link forthcoming. So if you were going to join that electronically, you need to just check and find the new link, which will be in the chat. So it'll be there, and you'll see it in the chat today, so it'll all be good. Just don't use the one you might have thought you would use originally. Sorry for the interruption, Ginger. Carry on.
Michael here? Do you know
Michael, are you here? Michael Armstrong?
Oh, okay, there you are. Okay. So Michael is going to share stewardship reflection.
Hello, everyone. I am Michael Armstrong, a UUCB board member, and I've been asked to remind everyone that the stewardship campaign kicks off Sunday, March 5th. And to that effort, I'd like to share with you why I give to UUCB. And I'd like to make reference to the network of fungi called mycelium. And if you've never heard about this before, it's amazing. So mushrooms are the fruit of the mycorrhizal network fungus and connect trees through tiny threads under the ground called mycelium. That amazing underground network. And like that underground network, when I give to UUCB, I'm contributing to all the amazing causes that are supported by our congregation. I mean, I want to do it all. I mean, I want to make a difference, but I can't do it alone. Lending my support to UUCB allows me to support so much good and good work in our community. One small example are our Good Faith neighbors. We've given thousands of dollars to help support all the community networks. And I'm a part of that by being a part of UUCB. So to quote a phrase that I first heard during the Doctors of Durability services, which is one of my favorites, when I think about when I can give to UUCB, I can do so much with this wild and crazy life. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael. Now, we invite you now to make an offering and contribute to keeping our community dynamic and resilient. And while we're passing the plate, you can either give electronically or with a donation envelope. You can also scan the QR code on the back of your badge, or you can put cash or check donation in the donation envelope in the pew. And please mark it offering or pledge and put the envelope in the donation box that's out in the atrium when you leave the service. Each week, and Michael was just talking about this, half of our offering is shared with the nonprofit Good Neighbor organization recommended by our Social Justice Council. And this month, the East Bay Sanctuary Covenant, which provides legal services, community organizing, and transformative education to support low-income migrants and people. East Bay Sanctuary Covenant believes in a future that values community and healing over policing and incarceration. And the music you're about to hear from the gamelan was developed using the same process of dots on paper that we learned about during the Time for All Ages. Thank you. What an honor that was to be so close to watch them play. Thank you so much. Well, now let's dedicate our offering. Please join me in dedicating the offering. We dedicate our offering and ourselves to the mission of this congregation to create loving community, inspire spiritual growth, and encourage lives of integrity, joy, and service.
Hasn't this been just a marvelous service? Thank you. Thank you to all of our musicians, Katya, and especially Brian for your leadership and vision to make this happen. And I also want to shout out to all of the musicians, and again, Brian, for making love songs and chocolate happen last night. And thank you to all the volunteers whose effort it took to make that event happen here. Congregational meeting today following the worship service. The meeting will start around about 12:30 so that you have time to go out, coffee, take care of needs, sign super cards. There are 2 of them out in the lobby. If you haven't voted yet, there's still a chance to vote, but it stops the moment the meeting starts, so don't wait. All right, and as Brian mentioned earlier, the Zoom link, especially if you're coming in from virtually, the Zoom link that had gone out is incorrect. A new Zoom link was just sent out onto the discuss list. If you'll be joining our meeting virtually, you'll need to use that link. But I hope everyone in here comes back in the sanctuary to take part in this important work of our community. We have a couple of upcoming church member memorial services. This coming Saturday, we'll be celebrating the life of sci-fi author Ray Nelson, member of UUCB. And then on Sunday, February 26th, this will be a Zoom-only service that afternoon for UUCB member Jay Hanks. And let's end out with some more music. What do y'all think? Please rise in body or in spirit, and we'll join in singing our closing song, Answering the Call of Love. The words will be on screen. If you're using the hymnal, we're replacing the words standing on the side of love with answering the call of love. Let's join in singing.
God.
May your life, can you hear me all right? Good. May your life be as a song. May it flow on unending. It will always say, I'll be here. It will always say, I take you as you are. Let it hold you close to what matters. Let it set you free to explore what you wish to explore. May your life be as a song.